Summer is a time for new beginnings, fresh starts, and of course, new anime to watch. With the new season right around the corner, we thought it would be fitting to count down some of the best new anime that you should be watching this summer. Today, we've put together this list of the top 10 new anime for summer 2022. These shows are all amazing and you won't want to miss out on any of them. Number 10. Engage Kiss. Also known as Project Engage, is an extremely interesting looking anime series that is set to be released in the near future. Set in the ultra-futuristic Veyron City, a mega floating metropolis, we meet Shu, a young man that runs his own business but likes spending all of his money, and his interactions with Kisara, a young high schooler that is worried about him, and Ayano, an ex-girlfriend that he used to work with. What we loved about Engage Kiss was the realistic portrayal of teenage love. Everyone in this show are realistically flawed characters, and their interactions feel genuine. The show also does a great job of portraying the difficulties of teenage relationships. There are no easy answers or solutions in Engage Kiss, which makes for an engaging and realistic watch. Overall, we would definitely recommend Engage Kiss to anyone looking for a good comedy romance anime. About 3 people in a slightly unusual relationship. It's a heartwarming show that will make you fall in love with its characters. Number 9. Call of the Night. An interesting blend of both the supernatural with some lighthearted romance and comedy elements behind it. This is a relatively new manga series whose huge hype led to this upcoming July 2022 anime release date. Set in a world filled with humans and vampires, we follow Ko Yamori, a 14-year-old high school boy who is insanely bored with his mundane life. Ko literally cannot sleep and cannot find any satisfaction with his daily life and stops going to school entirely. Wandering the streets late at night, Ko comes across a mysterious girl by the name of Nazuma. We learn that she's actually a vampire, and Nazuma shows Ko the fun and joy of being a night walker. Ultimately, Ko really wants to become a vampire himself, but in order to do that, he has to fall in love with her first. In the meanwhile, Ko stays with Nazuma in an abandoned building while she sucks his blood while he sleeps. Number 8. Bastard. Set in the epic kingdom of Metallicana, this incredible post-apocalyptic dark fantasy series really is unlike anything we've seen in the anime world. An awesome Dungeons and Dragons type world that spins an insane tale of sorcery, revenge, and power struggles. A grim and dystopian world where people are forced to use magic just to survive against the many dangerous wild beasts and evil supernatural monsters. The world itself is split into 4 powerful kingdoms. Each of these kingdoms protects one of the 4 seals that keeps the god of destruction from breaking free and wreaking havoc. The story really kicks off when the kingdom of Metallicana comes under attack from the 4 lords of havoc. These lords will destroy everything in their path and leave suffering and pain everywhere they go. High Priest Gyo had no choice but to unleash the mighty wizard Dark Schneider, a man who used to be an ally of Havoc's 4 lords. Unfortunately for him, it just so happens that Dark Schneider's new arrival plans are not exactly in line with the High Priest. A fantastic core concept that allows for an exceptionally interesting anime series that we absolutely cannot wait for. Number 7. When will Ayumu make his move? An exciting new slice of life and romance anime series that is not afraid to let loose with some high quality jokes and humor. We follow Ayumu Tanaka, a first-year high school student, and Urushi Yaotome, a second-year student, and their adventures in the Shogi Club. Shogi is Japanese chess, and although Ayumu just joined for the sake of it, the cute Urushi is thrilled to have someone to play with. Although Ayumu is pretty bad early on, Urushi vows to be his mentor and teacher. And although the two definitely share a bond that is more than just master and student, you can't help but get caught up in the cute romance of this series. Through a number of hilarious and heartwarming adventures, Ayumu vows to confess his feelings to Urushi, his senpai, after he manages to defeat her in a game of shogi. You'll definitely enjoy your time jumping in and asking yourself when Ayumu will finally make his move. Number 6. Black Summoner.
お前ほどの強敵に会ったことがなかったからな。
Upon waking up in a strange new place with no memory of his past life, Kelvin found that he had been bartered away from those very memories for powerful abilities during one's recent transmigration. Heading out into this whole other world as an adventurer, alongside the powerful goddess that brought him here, Kelvin really starts to enjoy his new life as an adventurer and learns that he actually really loves fighting. A lot. The series itself has a lot of awesome fight scenes, and the nature of the series has Kelvin facing off against a number of exciting enemies from Black Knights to ancient castles filled with evil spirits. Our hero can't help but love his adventures and insane fights. Borderline overpowered, this is a really exciting and unbelievable journey as we watch Kelvin really start to make a name for himself in this awesome new Isekai world. Number 5. My recently hired maid is suspicious. A heartwarming and somber new series that is based on a successful manga series. With some high quality comedy and some light tones of romance, this is a brilliant new series that we cannot wait to see for ourselves. We follow a beautiful maid by the name of Lilith that has recently been hired to take care of Yuri, a young boy. The series itself really focuses on the interesting blossoming relationship between these two well-created characters. Yuri is exceptionally paranoid and believes that Lilith is plotting something behind her back. Regardless, the two slowly start to develop a really interesting relationship that we have never really seen through both the manga and anime world. An exciting new adaptation that revolves around this core relationship, giving us one of the freshest and most exciting new oddball romantic comedy series we have ever come across. Number 4. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. A brilliant manga series that actually got nominated for a number of awards. Rather than taking the outright comedic route, this opted for a more emotional and heartfelt tone and really resonated through the manga, and we hope will be really focused on in the anime. We follow Toru Kirishima, one of the leading members of the Sakuragi crime family. He's a really violent and aggressive man that really loves being a member of the Yakuza. He gets to be as angry and vicious as he wants, but that all changes one day when he gets a strange request from his boss, taking care of the boss's daughter. A pretty heartwarming and very interesting story of a little girl and her Yakuza babysitter. We slowly see the two vastly different worlds collide as we see Toru learn more about himself from this little girl than you could imagine. Number 3. My Isekai Life. A brilliant new isekai and adventure anime series. Starting off as early as 2017, My Isekai Life has seen a great deal of success as a light novel and manga series, finally getting an anime adaptation set to launch across July 2022. The anime community is absolutely hyped for this upcoming release. Yuji Sano is a corporate drone that lives a boring and mundane life, but one day, after a long day of work, Yuji starts up his PC to be greeted by a strange message inviting him to another world. Yuji is curious and can't help but accept. Waking up in a fantasy world that is the furthest thing from his life of paperwork and computers, Yuji is convinced that this is a dream and is extremely stressed, worrying about the piles of work he left behind him in his normal life. Yuji soon makes a number of interesting friends and starts to unravel some powerful slime and knowledge-based abilities that make him incredibly powerful in this exciting new world. With an insane amount of magical power, Yuji is well on his way to becoming one of the most powerful magic users in this exciting new isekai world. Number 2. Uncle from Another World. An interesting comedy fantasy type series that definitely has some isekai traits behind it. Uncle from Another World really highlights the big shifts in the anime scene as we begin to see more exciting series that are looking to change up and challenge what we know about anime. We meet Takafumi and learn of his uncle involved in a serious traffic accident 17 years ago, slipping into a coma and remaining there until he wakes up and kicks off this brilliant series. We learn that Takafumi's uncle didn't actually spend 17 years in a coma, but actually lived in a magical fantasy isekai world. But now that his uncle has returned, we realize that he's managed to bring some of his magical powers back with him to this regular world. The two spend a lot of time together as Takafumi and his uncle discuss the Isekai world. Takafumi slowly starts to realize that an Isekai world might not be as great as the entire anime community likes to believe. Number 1. Drifting Home.
ひと夏の別れの旅が始まる
An upcoming anime film that is set to be released in a few months' time. We can hardly wait for the release of Drifting Home, the third full-length film with the team behind Penguin Highway and A Whisker Away. So far, there's just a trailer release that reveals very little about this exciting upcoming film, still keeping a lot of mysteries of the story well hidden from us. We meet two childhood friends, Kosuke and Natsume, alongside a number of classmates, breaking into an abandoned apartment building that is said to be haunted. They experience a weird anomaly and find themselves drifting on the apartment building in the ocean. As you can imagine, the children all respond to this strange occurrence differently as they all try their best to drift themselves back home.